Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Number 2.
What will we talk about later in the week when we regather?
Isn't that tomorrow night?
It's
Oh,
Wednesday.
my God.
Right. So this one is, like, right now it's the 7th. And this one
Okay.
goes up the 16th.
Okay.
And I leave... Wait, this one I think goes up the
No, you're right.
16th.
You're correct. You're correct.
And then I perform the 18th because I leave tomorrow for Hanoi
Oh, on this podcast.
on this podcast.
Okay.
It'll be...
Have a great trip.
Thanks. Follow my Instagram. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think that AT&T might have the same plan that they have for Canada, where it's $10 a day. You could treat your phone like you're still at home.
Oh, that's great. Should I be on Instagram?
Yeah. You should definitely be hiding from Facebook on Instagram.
Really?
It'll automatically post to your Facebook.
No, you have to connect it, right? I wouldn't want...
Instagram is owned by Facebook.
I know, but they can't still automatically post your Instagram without your permission.
No, but it's an auto tick. So you wouldn't have to go on Facebook is what I'm saying.
I hardly ever go on Facebook.
Right.
I'm so angry at Facebook.
Facebook's the worst.
They're part of the reason we're in this situation.
Right. This situation, we're talking about life
America.
and the American mistake.
I've been digitizing VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And I realized the sound was off on some of them.
Oh, that's
because
right. You
I
had to
wasn't-
sync.
Yeah, so what I would have to do. So I've been what's made it awful is I thought I was done, and then I was like, oh no, I have to check every single one of these, and I hadn't labeled any of the tapes the same name as some of them just say Kilmartin 94, so it could be one of 13 sets, and so I'm just going through each one again to watch it and then find that set that I digitized and listen to it and make sure the sound is synced okay. It's endless. It's so tedious.
It sounds excruciating.
Yes. So I'm like 2/3 done with that then.
Right.
And then I'll have all these things saved as MOV files, which are huge. And then I'm going to, I guess, condense them and hopefully in the next couple of years, like do stuff with them, kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Just like
you could build a documentary of I like the idea. You had that idea where you followed a bit.
Yeah, menstruation, kids, dick joke closers,
Right.
Nonstop dick joke closers. Oh my God, it was endless.
You were on fire.
I was a road comic, man.
You were a road comic.
But
I know.
What a pain in the ass VHS is. Thank God it didn't really transition to like 2009. That's when everyone started putting stuff on DVDs, But I have so many comic strip sets because you just go there, you throw your VHS tape in, and then you did it yourself. You didn't have to go through the club at all,
Right?
So it's so easy. There's so many of them. It's just I found one like in 2000 when I had just moved there and I wasn't working a day job yet, and I was fucking thin, Jackie. I had a waist, I had a flat stomach, and it was this guy named Pete Klusman.
Do you want to do yourself from 2000? What's happening?
Yes, because I won't make myself eat my own ass. That's a callback to last week's podcast.
To 10 minutes ago.
And by the way, their podcast is really good. It was just I just realized, oh my God, I can't date, but but I liked listening to them talk about it.
Sure.
And then I can sort of track my weight going up as I'm working a day
Jesus.
job.
Oh, right.
And I'm
Because you're
sitting all
around.
day.
Yeah.
And then when I was writing for Tough Crowd and I was on Tough Crowd, there was like this roll that had never been there except for when I was actually fat after I quit swimming and I went on that food bender. But I was like, man, and I kept thinking, oh, this is my fucking kid's fault. But it happened. It all started to happen when I started doing a day job and just sitting and writing or doing HTML code or whatever it was. Before that, when I was just a road comic, I used to work out. I work out every day for sure, but sometimes twice a day.
Right.
I had nothing else to do, and I was only doing 30 minutes at night. What did I have to train? I didn't have to be rested for anything.
Right. And you were, of course, in your 20s, and so you
this is in my 30s, too.
Oh, yeah?
Up to, like, when I moved to New York when I was 36, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
All right.
only like when I started sitting a lot.
Yep.
That I started to gain weight that I haven't been able to lose. That I feel like it looks like middle age weight, but I was like, it happened even before that. It was sitting weight.
Right. Well,
don't
some
know.
people die when they're 70. Maybe. I was going to tell you that. So you at the end of the last episode, before the whole ass talk thing happened.
Yes.
I was talking about the romance novel that I'm writing for Audible, and it's all on spec. Remember.
Right.
But they're going to produce the whole thing, and then they said if they don't buy it, I can have the audio.
Okay.
Because what they wanted was a first chapter, a Sexy Times chapter, an outline, and then we would record it. And so I was sitting around with Bamford, and I said, "Hey, do you know any women British actors who can comic actors who can do a fancy British accent?" And she does the voice of in Puss in Boots, a British accent.
Maria does?
Yeah. Oh. And so she pulls out this Margaret Smith accent. Not Margaret Smith.
Margaret Smith. Margaret Thatcher?
Maggie Smith. It is Margaret Smith.
Oh, okay.
But not Margaret Smith, the comic. Maggie Smith, the actress.
Where is Margaret Smith, the comic?
I don't know.
Did we try to find her once and we couldn't find her?
I think we did. We couldn't find her.
Oh, fuck this business. That lady was a great joke writer.
She was an amazing joke writer. And about as far as early ago as 6 years ago, she was up at the Ice House.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would see her sometimes at the Ice House. 6 or 7 years ago.
I haven't seen her.
So Maria starts doing this Maggie Smith thing, and then morphs it into something less Maggie Smith and just more highbrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell is this?" And she goes, I'm on a cartoon, you know." And I was like, "Oh, your career." I don't know a lot about it. All I know is about the stand-up part of it. And
you don't know about all her voices.
and I said, "Well, would you want to do it?" And she said, "Yeah." Is it easy? Like, 'cause she likes voiceover because it's very casual. And she said, "Yeah, I would just have to pay my rate and be convenient." And so I emailed Audible with the script. Like, I finally finished the
That's
Sexy
a great
Time.
coup for Audible to have Maria Bamford reading their thing.
Well, that's what I thought. And
Yeah.
I thought, what nice timing. Me with my weirdo romance novel script ideas. And Maria's willing to do the read, or at least this read. And I said, she just needs it to be convenient and she needs to be paid. And they always pay everybody, to my knowledge. But they were like, "What? Yeah." And they were very excited about it. And then Dan Dion's such a nice guy. He's the guy I'm working with over at Audible.
Oh, cool.
And he was like, "Well, we want to make sure that this is it's your thing, you know?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's not how my ego goes. I always want to work with Maria Bamford. And it would be super fun. It would be fun if she read something I wrote. That would be neat."
Yes. Yeah.
And so, but it was very sweet of him to care
you know what? It's
about my ego.
Yes. I think a lot of comics, like, I didn't think I could write for a late night show. Because I
Right.
was like, oh, that's someone, I'm writing for someone else.
Right.
You know? And you can actually split your brain in
Right.
half and do it.
Right.
It's no big deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you can, but I can understand, like, in the first 10 years, you're like, oh, you can barely figure out what you're going to say on stage,
Yes.
much less, now I'm going to write for Conan or Stephen Colbert or something like that.
Right,
It's like
right.
almost too much to think about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's actually quite doable.
Right. And the weird thing is like, because I was also thinking I have a radio play idea that maybe for Audible, but it might be, I think he wants to finish this one and then do the
sure.
next one. And I don't blame him. But having written now the comic book and finally finishing the specs chapters on this thing,
Yeah.
it made it more real. It made it, I can do this.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
of
it's
course.
not, because you always feel like it's impossible.
Yeah.
Until somebody has, like, there was a deadline.
Yeah,
He was like,
right.
"Hey, I need this. I'm having a meeting on Tuesday with this guy." And I was like, "Okay." So I sent it to him Monday. And then Tuesday midday, he's like, "Did you send it to me?" And I sent it to I sent it to his Audible address, and it wasn't working for some reason.
Okay.
But you know how you read everything out loud, and just to hear, and so I read out loud the Sexy Times chapter to Andy.
Yeah.
And I also let him read it because he has better grammar skills than I do.
Yeah.
I was like, I need someone who knows where to put the commas in between cockstand and vagina puss or whatever the fuck. And
do you guys spell it comma? C-U-M-M-A? Come on, folks. Let's do a short podcast. That was a good one. Let's get out on that.
And dropping and leaving. Walking out. Rolling out underneath the garage door.
Into children.
Hopefully the children... It's getting dark, you guys. You should go hide inside.
Go to bed,
where
kids.
Good children.
My son's with his dad tonight, so...
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. It's, Is he got school tomorrow? What,
he does. His dad will take him to school.
What am I, the police? Anyway. What am I, a truant officer? None of my business. So I did Greg Behrendt and Amira Behrendt.
Mm-hmm.
I did their podcast the day before yesterday. And I know we were talking last time about Amira. Or I think I was. And it was...
We were talking before the podcast.
Before the podcast. Okay, so I've known
And then
Amira...
I said, shut up. We have to talk for 2 hours.
Exactly.
And then we sat next to each other in a weird silence.
Right, because
Waiting for
Kyle was
Kyle.
a little bit late. And so we were just hearing a very
Jackie
stiff...
would open her mouth. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Well, here's the weird thing is Amira, her and Greg have also designed clothes.
Really?
Yeah, they're clothes horses. They love fashion and stuff like that. So for a while they were designing clothes. And so when Greg was just talking about doing it, it was before the book came out, the Sex and the City book.
Wait, no, he's not. He's just not that
It
into
just
you?
came out of that joke, though.
Yeah,
It
right.
came out. The joke was in Sex and the City.
Yeah.
He wrote the book about the thing. He was on Oprah.
Yes.
It weirdly derailed his stand-up career.
I know, that's so strange.
It's such a strange.
Yes.
I think it all worked out. He's regrouped.
Yeah, right. Well, I think the fans came to a show of the book and were shocked by his show.
Right, because he just turns out he's just a comic.
Yeah, and it's also like the Bob Saget situation where he's the dad on Full House and then he's filthy on stage. But
Right.
I think people were able to handle that a little bit more. I think women really wanted love advice. I don't even think it was like, oh, it's not the kind of stand-up I thought. I think they actually wanted advice on their boyfriends at a comedy club.
Right.
Oh my God, nightmare.
Right, nightmarish. And so, but Amira took me shopping one time to help me pick out clothes to dress on stage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is she going to do that again for...
No.
Was that a while ago?
Yeah, I think it was in like 2001.
Oh, yeah. You got to update your shit.
I still have those cargo shorts that she picked for me.
What? Oh, I see why that business didn't take off.
They were really cool cargo shorts. They were from
Oh, you weren't
Armani
joking?
Express. No, they were they Armani Express or were they
Okay, all right.
early
okay.
2000s,
It was
the cargo
maybe
short was
pre 9/11, right? You said 2001. Yeah, right. Yes, back
It
then.
was a simpler time. People wanted to carry things, not fanny packs are back. Did you see that?
I love a fanny pack.
Do you?
Yeah, that's when my
But
kid
you
and I
didn't
went
love
to
one
Luxembourg
3 years ago.
No, when we went to Luxembourg, we were totally all over a fanny packs, or they were all over us. Yes, that's where I kept my passport. Same with him. Kept it nailed to our bodies.
There
So
was
we
a
could-
time when fanny packs were very not cool, and
Oh, I
now
know.
they're cool again.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
weird. Because I'd never found a fanny pack cool. I found it useful.
useful. Yes.
But last night I think it was
Sashira
Sashir. Yeah, was wearing one, and
on stage.
Yeah, and that's what she was being heckled, and one of the things that the guys yelled at her was, "Nice fanny pack," and she said, "The weird thing about that heckle is I want to say thank you, because this is because
sounds like a
they were
nice
also like, where'd you get that fanny pack?" And she goes, "I actually want to tell you, it's a Kate Spade." And
Kate Spade's doing fanny packs.
yeah, that's how.
Oh, if only she was here for it.
That's when I. Oh, that's right. She died.
Oh my God! I thought I was cold. Man, you are ice.
Well, Kate and I don't go back that far. First of all, I didn't know that fanny packs were back until I saw her wearing a Kate Spade fanny pack.
Well, Kate Spade has nothing to do. I mean, she sold her company, so she herself would probably be shocked to see her name on a fanny pack.
Maybe, except for that, I think they are cool now.
Yeah, I think a good looking, sure, anything attractive is good, Jackie. I think we're in Los Angeles. I think we know that.
Sashir was attractive. The fanny pack took from it.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. She seemed like good-looking people.
Yeah.
The fanny pack was her, I think, dumbing it down a little bit. Hey, don't be so wowed by my looks. I'm going to wear this fanny pack.
I see.
I don't know that was it at all. I have no idea. All I know is that Amira is not... I kind of want Amira to take me shopping again.
Yeah, I want to hire a stylist. I don't know who to hire, and you aren't available, so I
No, wait. Can I take you? I bought a new shirt in Ottawa because they misplaced my luggage for a day, and so I had to go to the Walmart, and I bought an Ottawa hockey shirt and a flannel shirt.
You cannot take me shopping.
Don't you want an Ottawa? Don't you want to?
Did we talk about Louis being back? Again?
No,
He showed up again.
Wait, when is it not going to be a surprise?
I know.
Here's what I do want to know: are they paying him?
No, it was a drop in again. I have no idea. I don't think.
Do they pay for drop-ins?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Because they budget out the show for the comics that are on the show, but the seller now has a policy: if you were upset by any content of an unplanned guest, they will refund your cover charge, although you still probably bought drinks and food and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I
can't give them back the food and drinks.
It sounds like they're ready for more drop-ins by Louis.
Yeah.
And possibly Bill Cosby.
And possibly Brett Kavanaugh. Maybe he's going to start doing stand-up.
But, it's there's so many funny comics in New York City. It just seems like I know a drop-in's a different situation, but I don't know. There's so many funny
still going to
people
whip
that
his
need
stick
stage
out
time.
and make people watch him? Or do you think he's just paying people to watch him, which I think would be the way it should be done.
And I don't know what it's like to all of a sudden be like housebound, where you can't leave the house because people are like, does that change your libido on what you're into? I have no idea.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I guess it's
what did Kimmel
America
say something about it, or
yeah, I mean,
wasn't it an unfortunate saying of something?
He kind of was asked about it, and then he started talking about women in comedy. And
oh man,
I know.
No, it's like the Norm Macdonald thing all over again. Because I like Kimmel.
You know what? Do it. You need a lawyer to go asked and answered, right? I think a duck's being killed across the street. Did you hear a
it
quacking?
Sounded like a duck. I thought it was your mom again.
But here's the thing, like,
you reading about Democrats? What's going on?
If you're a dude being asked about comedy, you really just answer the question, then stop talking. Don't ruminate and explore other parts of your brain in front of a reporter. That's not the time to riff and try out a point of view.
And the thing is as comics, we always answer. Like this is genuinely, I've done so many podcasts that I have expressed all kinds of opinions that will probably bite me in the ass, or will bore people to tears.
Yeah,
I was boring myself at one point. I was like, ugh, not this again.
Well, like when I just watch, sometimes I watch my sets that I'm digitizing, and I was also I got rid of some reviews from Edinburgh that I had saved the newspapers and stuff like that. And I was like,
how were they?
There's somebody slammed me for a joke, and at the time I was very upset.
Yes.
And then I read the joke, I'm like, really? Yeah. They were 100% right.
Right.
And I was dumb.
Yeah.
And I think let's say there, like, what we white people know about America, some of us, including myself, didn't really know before Trump was elected.
How about before the iPhone camera? That's when I dated.
Right.
Because the thing is, I do that bit about how I always thought that I've always been a bleeding heart liberal.
Yeah.
Nicaragua. Anyway, the Nicaragua joke. And then,
Yeah.
and I thought I got racism
Yes, me too. Right.
because I was always this huge liberal.
Right.
And, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's
right.
because I was like, yeah, man, that sucks. That's not right. And of course the definition of racism when we were kids was like Sesame Street level definition of racism, where if you hate people of another color, you are a racist.
Yeah.
They didn't also say if you watch someone having a barbecue extra close and make
Right.
them and wonder if it's
and
legal
demand to know why they're there.
Right.
Yeah.
You might be a race. You are
Yes.
also a racist.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many layers to it
Yeah.
that, and every curtain that is revealed, like with that last episode we were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
every curtain that is revealed, I'm like, I can have an epiphany that I was a racist.
Yeah.
I don't need to find the nearest black or brown friend of mine and alert them that I've had an epiphany about racism. So the gentlemen who want to tell me that they've had an epiphany about sexism,
Right.
also unnecessary.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Louis and or Kimmel
Right. Oh,
and just
okay, so-
answering every question.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, it's like if it was somebody else, their criticism might be a little louder. But he books a comedy club now. He has a comedy club in Las Vegas.
Oh,
so
does he?
we comics don't want to be like, dude.
Is he booking a comedy club in Las Vegas?
He's about to open a comedy club, and
But didn't the Cellar just close their comedy club in Las Vegas?
well,
I don't
everyone
know that.
thinks they can do. I think
comedy-
he's actually from Las Vegas.
Oh,
so-
is Kimmel from Vegas?
Yes. Yeah, he was.
Oh,
born
no
and raised
wonder
there.
he wants to open
Yeah,
a club there.
it makes a little more sense.
So that he could visit his family.
Sure, yes.
And friends.
Yeah, otherwise he can't afford it. It's,
Right, poor
it's such
thing.
an expensive
Poor thing.
flight.
It's $100 round trip.
But so I don't know. It's and then on our little thread, people
Do you know
were.
who's booking it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if it's built yet. But people were like upset on our thread, and I was just like, you might be submitting a writing packet there one day. So I understand your frustration, but you might not want to go hell,
Just
balls to the wall
out.
on Twitter about
Yeah.
it. You can sit this one out, or you subtweet,
Or-
you just make a generic statement that people who know what you're talking about go, "Yep, exactly."
Do you want to subtweet in this podcast, which of course means it won't be a tweet, but do you want to do just sort of because I asked people to send me the lineups of their local comedy
Oh
clubs
my god,
for the
that
next
was
3 months?
really depressing.
It's been super depressing because I've gotten 6 emails from, and some of them are multiple clubs in their towns.
Yeah.
All in the next 3 months, October, November, December. That's 12 weeks of stand-up comedy. One club had 2 women headliners.
Oh my god,
The rest of them had either none or one.
that's just
And they
so
were all
bad.
super famous women comics who could totally fill the room.
Right.
So the bar is different, obviously, and we've established that, right? Is like you have to be a woman who can fill the room for sure the whole weekend to be booked as a headliner. But if you're a regular walking around funny male comic,
Yeah.
you can get booked, and they'll fill the room,
And
or
they'll
it'll be
comp
half,
it, or they'll group
and they'll
on
half
it, or
fill it, or
whatever.
whatever.
Right.
And they'll bring you back every year so that you can build a following.
Or because you're cheap. I don't know that they care if you build a following. I
Well,
don't know if
'cause
clubs
eventually-
invest that much in a comic, but I do
I think they do. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, because then if you
like-
build enough of a following, you don't want to work the club anymore. You'll just do a theater date.
well, but not that level of, like, before you do that, because they're also grooming new white male comics.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I mean, white male comics want to perform just as much as anybody else do,
and they're
right?
very funny.
Yes, but
Many of them
not. But the booker, this is on the bookers completely. It's not on
Completely.
any comic who wants stage time or wants work. That's
No.
totally 100% natural and normal, and you should grab every spot you can.
Yeah.
But that's just a booking failure, and it's weird. I don't think they see it. Like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, I was talking to somebody who commented on my Louis that article I did for the New York Times about how how women in the audience love it when there's a female comic and how necessary it is, and he's like, oh. I was like, what? You just realized that?
Yeah.
And you just realized that all male lineups or one woman every so often wasn't enough? And it was
And even showcase nights here.
I couldn't even get mad because he was complimentary. Like,
You'll
thanks
get mad
for
a
opening up
different
my
time.
eyes. Like, dude, what? Oh my God.
Right. It's like it's the fourth time in a week if it happens. Then you start getting mad and you're just like, I'm sorry, you're getting the rage of the previous 3 white guys who just also had the same revelation.
I don't know how to fix these clubs though. I mean, if we complain about them publicly, you and I will never get to work them.
I know
right?
it.
And
I'm already not working.
I know
I've already shot myself in the foot once. And
right.
But here's
maybe if you're like Kathy Griffin at your level where you're not working clubs anymore, you could do that.
Yeah.
But who knows if that'll work or if that'll help. Like, I don't know how to genuinely go up to.
Maybe we could get Ari Shaffir to write a letter. Because he wrote this very polite letter to the JFL people about new faces,
about paying them and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it worked. He said,
yeah.
But I mean, next year isn't here yet. But hopefully it worked.
I'm sure.
And they liked that it was a polite letter, and they liked. You know, the thing is about club owners is they want us to eat crow. But they also are those men who don't see it without someone pointing it out.
Yeah, and I'm also not used to looking at club owners as people I can have conversations with. Like, I just want to get paid and get the fuck out, right? So to actually sit down and be like, hey, I have this thought, and there's a bunch of us that have this thought, and we've noticed this, and especially to someone whose club's already doing fine, like they don't want to be a hero, and they don't want to be a feminist, and they don't want to fix anything. They just want to keep making money every single month, right?
And they think that they're booking good comics.
They think if they have one female MC for the month, that's okay, and that's great. That is good, but you need to have female features and female headliners. You need to pepper every show with female voices. You really do.
Right. And there are, I will say this, is of all those clubs, there were more black men, people of color men.
Yeah. That's good.
Which means that they're seeing something or hearing something.
Yeah.
They're just not hearing the thing,
But how they view men, whether they are white or black, is different than how they view any sort of female comic.
Right? And like the club there was some Southern club that somebody sent me.
Yeah,
and it was almost entirely black men and 2 women for the next, and that went to the end of January.
Oh, was that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was that club, mm-hmm. and it's. But I want to work that club too.
That's a super Southern room. Were most of the acts Southern?
No, well, there were a couple of white acts, but they were like kind of shouty, wiggly dudes.
Yeah,
and wiggly white guys that that they racistly think that black audiences really need to see, and it's such a pain in my ass because I don't necessarily want to play black rooms or white rooms. I want to play all the rooms.
Yeah.
I would like to go to your weird town. I don't know what town I don't want to go to, right?
Right.
I mean, Indianapolis is fine. But the last time I did it was this crazy room that only had those 4 audience members for those 4 shows.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Huh. Well, I don't know how to...
The check cleared.
I don't know. Oh, yes, that's good. I mean, I don't know what to do. It's...
right, to make club owners listen.
Right. I mean, because first of all, we're just trying to get work ourselves. It's like, oh, now I got to get other female headliners work. Give me.
Right.
I'm trying to book shit. We're so self-interested, and we're just only looking at our own calendars that it's hard. It's hard for us to go. Let's expand this and do more.
Right.
Although I don't know. Is it hard? I'm not sure. It's just we're not used to thinking beyond our own calendars.
Well, and I don't know. Like financially, I don't know that I can make a stand.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't want that to be a truth. I'm not happy that I just said that, but it's a truth.
But I know. But
so I have to say it.
If you annoy this club owner, or if you just say this and they feel like it's annoying, are they going to see your name and go, "Oh, she's browbeats me about my calendar"? Nah, fuck that.
Yeah. Why don't I book a different woman? And will I be pleased? Well, I will be less employed, is what I'll be.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they can feel if they're doing female slots, like, all right, I got to do 3 a year. They can fill it with somebody who doesn't bring up the fact that there's only 3 a year.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to lose clubs for that reason.
Right. Maria brought it up we just did Buffalo, and she brought it up all weekend.
She can afford it, which is awesome.
She can afford it.
Yes.
And for as long as she can afford it, I mean, she might be in a car 10 years from now as well, looking for sets, looking for coffee shops, and someone to listen to her. I don't know if she's doing...
Well, she seems to have many different potential revenue streams.
Right. I don't know. There was something... Wait. Hey, where are we at? We're at 30. Let's do it.
I'm exhausted, but this is going by faster than I thought it would.
It's Robin.
Oh, my Lord.
What's going on?
Hi, Mom. Back. I could have let her fall down the steps, and I didn't, so I'd like credit for that.
All right. I'm gonna get you a balloon. In other news, Comic of the Week.
Yay!
Robin Tran.
Yes.
Robin Tran, very funny. And her Twitter handle is RobinTran04.
Is there an underscore, or it's just 04? All one. Okay. Who puts 2 numbers at the end of their Twitter name? Okay. So we saw her at I saw her. You weren't there. You weren't there yet at Eileen Yang's Northridge gig, and she was really funny. And she's transgender, and she has a funny joke about her last name being Tran.
So
and she has some other funny stuff too, but I was like, that's great.
I was watching some videos when you suggested her, and because I had missed her set, and that's good comedy right there.
Yeah,
it's there you go.
And Kyle knew her back in the OC days.
In the OC days, and so you've watched her come up from a baby comic to now, into a murderer. So bring it,
yay!
So Robin Tran, you guys. So. Speaking of the South, Jared Logan is doing a run. Him and Kara.
Oh, yeah.
Kara,
okay.
Clink. I don't know why I continue to say Kara. It's Kara.
You know what?
Yeah?
It's tricky.
There's and you know what else? It's my 5th hour of podcasting, so everything's tricky.
Tara. I mean, the whole genre. Mara. Any auras you don't know, you have to go to them specifically, and then you'll probably forget and say it wrong, and then you'll wonder every single time. What?
Subda? You know Subda?
Yes.
So I was like, is it?
She works on Jim Jeffries' show.
Yeah, she works on and I don't think she's been a Comic of the Week.
Yes, she has.
Oh, has she?
Yeah.
Okay. But she and she had a great set last night over at the Ruby. Next to where Old Meltdown was.
Oh.
And,
wait, what's the venue? It's called the Ruby?
It's called the Ruby, and it's just a little black box that they put back there.
Well, in the back of
remember
where Meltdown...
where there was a studio? It was like the school. It was like where the school was?
Yeah.
That's now a theater.
Oh.
So I guess they're not going to raise it and put up condos? So Meltdown just wanted out? There you go. Well, live your lives, Francisco.
Oh, interesting.
And, yeah.
Huh. So what's going in where Meltdown is?
Well, there's already 9 businesses in there.
They chopped it up?
Yeah, they just chopped it up into a bunch of stuff, and it's there's a private eye kind of internet private eye business, and
I hate seeing an old venue when it's turned into something else. Foo Bars, one of the first clubs I ever went up. It was a Chinese restaurant. It turned into a Chinese restaurant, and then it turned into an evangelical church. Oh, it hurt to drive by.
I wonder if there was a fortune cookie that told us that. I'm here all week, you guys.
Oh, my God.
I'm so tired.
I was in one of my sets. I was digitizing. I was working with Brian Regan that week.
What?
At Cobb's. Yeah, it was. This is like when he was doing. I think it was in '94. He was doing something called The Idiot and the Oddity, where he would do 2 completely different hours every other show, like let's say Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. No, because he would have to do the weekend. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday were the Idiot, and Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday were the Oddity. And he would do just comedy that fit into that.
Such a fucking genius.
This is 94.
And in 94.
Yeah. And he would pack the room, but he wasn't famous, but people knew him. And people would just come back to the next night's show because they would know it would be completely different material.
Yeah.
God, he was so good even back then.
I'm working with him in November.
Tell him I remember those shows.
I'm totally
and they were
gonna,
really fun.
It's always a nice. He loves an old road story because he likes to sit on the bus and just sort of reminisce about crazy comics.
Yeah,
it's kind of awesome. It's not even kind of because he knew everyone because he came up in Florida and then he worked through the 80s and 90s.
And Florida brought us a lot of crazy comics.
I used to think that no one was funny from Florida. And then I met him and Tom Papa.
And Tom Rhodes. Oh, Tom Papa too?
I believe Tom Papa.
Tom Rhodes and Todd Barry as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Todd Barry went to
someone
University
else
at
who's
Gainesville.
from there that is funny. Okay, but I was going to tell you that Jared Logan is doing, him and Kara Clank are doing...
How gently you tiptoed.
How gently I'm available to fuck up her name. I just saw her last night. She did the weird late breakfast show.
I think it's a regional thing. Some people say like Lowry to me. They're like,
but she's from Long Island.
It's Kara. It's Kara.
It's Kara. It's
yes.
Kara Clank. Anyway, but they're doing one of those tours where they both get to do time and have small venues.
Dude, why aren't we doing Saturdays places?
Okay. Yeah, we got to
do a podcast and then we'll
Jackie,
do a show, or do a show and then a podcast and talk about the show we just did. It'll be the most inside podcast ever.
That's what I would rather do it in that order. Yes. I'd rather do the set and then the pod.
Yes.
But so just email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com. Give me an idea of a venue. I will talk to the venue and fucking figure it out. And then maybe Kyle can open for us. And Kyle's just nonchalantly playing with his hair. I see him over there just playing with his hair. He's like, what about me? Aren't you going to need someone to do sound?
Is there something like Up the Five we could do?
What, Santa Cruz? Do you want to do Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love Santa Cruz.
Because I'm already booked there again. Remember,
do
I had
we
to
have
cancel.
a following in Santa Cruz?
Well, Jackie at JackieCation me, and tell me if we do have anybody willing to drive down from the Bay Area.
I'm doing a show in Chico in December that I had totally forgotten about because the guy that booked it, he booked me as something else.
Is it a Saturday?
Yeah, that immediately.
Well, why don't we do that as well?
No, you're not part of this show.
Well, what? You're going to horn in on my Santa Cruz? I can't horn in on your Chico?
Oh, you were trying to...
Yeah.
You were trying to connect...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't I thought you wanted
it's
to
just
separate...
a Saturday.
Okay. What day is it?
It'll be a Saturday.
Oh, any Saturday.
No, it's I don't have the date offhand, but we can. What I'm saying is that if you've booked a weird one-nighter already in a weird city,
right?
Maybe we can turn it into that.
Oh.
Because that's what I think I've done in Santa Cruz.
I don't think I can do that with this Chico gig, but I think we should try to do that someplace around. Okay. Maybe something that's not too far to drive to, before we try to...
Do you want to go to Victorville?
I've always wanted to go to Victorville. Joshua Tree? What? Let's...
Kyle might have an in.
Let's book gigs that cost us $1,000 to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't.
That's what the Patreon's for.
You're like young comics.
Well, the thing is if we could fly to Baltimore, I want to do something fun.
I would like to do that too.
Yes,
I want to go to a cool city and just have a Saturday fucking one
Birmingham,
show on
Alabama wants us. Yeah. I'm sure Jacksonville, Florida would loathe us except for the 200 people who came.
Uh-huh.
And then, there's 200 people in every town.
How do you know
Omaha?
Birmingham wants us?
Because they already do. It's a cool scene.
Oh, I know. We did the festival there.
Yeah.
But, have they been emailing you? How do you know they want us back?
Oh. I just assume. I am the golden retriever of stand-up comedy.
That's right.
Who wouldn't want me to come back?
You make 3 calls, and then you
Boom.
knock on their door.
Mm-hmm. I've been knocking on your door.
Rachel Bloom. Do you watch My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
I don't watch anything. Cloak and Dagger.
It's on my list.
I really want to see the rest of Cloak and Dagger. I'm on episode 5.
I resist anything that's comedy, of course.
But My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is supposed to be extraordinary.
Yes,
actually.
and she's so fucking cool. Like before anyone said anything about Les Moonves after like a couple more allegations came out, she's like, this guy's got to go. And she's on his network and he's a big proponent of her show. And before he was let go, she took a stand and said, this is unacceptable, which is fucking brave. Like ours.
Right. It would be like me or you, like it would be like us standing up to the bookers. Except
which
for,
we just
which we
let you know we were
just
too
did.
cowardly
exactly.
to do. Let's at
But
least
if we start
recognize.
working these Saturdays, we won't have to worry
Yes,
about
let's recognize the bravery of people who aren't cowards
Yes,
like we are.
exactly.
That's what we can do.
That's what we can do. Or at least today. That's what we
So
can do today.
She was, I guess, Seth MacFarlane show, American Dad. No,
Sure.
Family Guy. Sorry,
Okay.
Family Guy made a joke about her, or about her show, and it kind of was like it was, it's a show for women or whatever like that. And she had also. Did you listen to her WTF with Marin? Mm-mm. It's really good because he describes her show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, as a. Is it on the CW? Yeah. Okay, which is owned by CBS.
Right.
So he described it as a guilty pleasure, and she said, "I take issue with that because it a lot of people take a woman's art, and a lot of men will go, well, it's not the primary thing I'm going to watch, but I'll
But I
watch it,
like
if I'm alone or if I run out of things to watch. I'll watch I'll listen to a female stand-up. I'll listen to a female podcast. If I
Yeah.
run out of things, if I've listened to all the dailies and all the WTFs, I'll listen to Jackie and Laurie.
Yeah.
Like we're second class. Like we're as she said, we're the side dish, not the.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so it was just really, it was very a briefer response, but she had kind of said about the Family Guy, like I think that they were just sort of, making that joke about how I must be a woman only show.
Oh right. Right. It's just an easy shot.
Yeah.
The thing about the Family Guy is that it's full of easy shots.
Yeah.
Family Guy is almost impossible for me to watch. The Simpsons
I
has
haven't watched
been
it in a while.
The Simpsons is, I haven't been able to watch The Simpsons in a while. Mostly, I mean, it's mostly I'm busy watching Cloak and Dagger. It's just whatever.
You've taken a stand.
I'm not watching anything, so don't feel bad that I'm not watching your weirdo show. But
what's really great is Bob's Burgers.
yeah.
Oh
that's what I
my
hear.
God, my son loves it. He got me into it. It's so funny.
Yeah, I hear it's wonderful.
It's really good.
yeah. I haven't seen it. I hear it's really good. I hear it's wonderful. I hear it's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I would love to watch that actually.
I would too. It's
Yeah.
if season 1's on Netflix, I have a list. There's something called Black Earth Rising I want to watch that was on BBC Two
Yeah.
that I think is on Netflix and people are saying is really good. Do you watch Insecure?
Nope.
What's
that?
It's Issa Rae. It's if you're on Twitter on Sunday night up until tonight, because the season finale was last week. If what's trending is either football player or it's an Insecure reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you see Molly and Lawrence and Nathan and Issa for no reason, you're like, who's that? It's
Their
Insecure.
characters
Yeah.
on Insecure.
it's
What's Insecure about?
It's Issa Rae she wasn't a stand-up. She was a comedic actor. I don't know what her background is, but she had a web series called The Adventures of an Awkward Black Girl, I think. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really
I've seen one of those.
Like, it wasn't like she did it on an iPhone. Like,
Yeah.
it was professionally done.
Yeah.
And so that led to this. And it's about her and two other, 4 women. Amanda Seales is one of them.
Oh, wow.
She's on it. And, black women in Los Angeles, young women,
Oh, okay.
kind of going about their lives. Amanda Seales' character.
Hour long or
Tiffany
half
is
hour?
Pregnant, married. It's a half hour.
Okay.
So, and it's really funny and it's good and it's interesting and it's shot beautifully. Like, and I read an interview with a cinematographer who's like, every time people shoot, they shoot black actors, they don't light them properly.
Right.
And the lighting on this just watch for the lighting. You're like, oh,
Do you know why?
It's gorgeous.
Because
look
white people
gorgeous.
are human neutral. And so all lighting people light for white folks.
Right. Yeah.
And which is why, and allow me to go back to Marvel, Black Panther was shot. So that's why Black Panther is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Is because they took into account skin tone. And they shot for what it was
and
great.
the people that do are good at it. I'm sure every
Yeah.
lighting director thinks they have taken into account, but you don't make black people look like the way Issa
It's
Rae
like-
show makes them look.
It's like in Shitty Mom.
Yeah.
When you talk about adopting a child of color,
Yeah.
go find a hairdresser. Remember that joke?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great joke.
And
That's a great joke.
and watch Chris Rock's.
Good hair.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I fucking love that
Yes.
movie. That movie was hilarious. Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
I felt comfortable giving that advice because one of the non-authors who's listed as an author
Yeah.
had adopted a child of another race.
Oh,
so I was
okay.
like, all right, because of
Let's
her
cover it.
experience, I will.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, you're right. I mean, the thing is and much like I swear to God, we're all fucking baby birds. We have to be told in simple terms. That's what we're doing with men. That's what needs to be done with white folk.
I
right?
know.
So
I
we're
mean-
doing it. We can also receive it. So-
if you imagine how
I'm
much
willing.
you and I get angry at guys that we think are smarter than that, and they're not, you know, imagine that must be happening all the time with
I don't have to
people
imagine.
with us.
My
just
friend
going,
Ebony was like, she literally said to me, "Jesus, is this the first time you've been disappointed?" And I was like,
right.
"Oh fuck!" And so
Right.
every time I have lunch with her and hang out with her now, she's just like, it kind of opened a gate of, she was like, "All right, you're willing to hear my experience," which is, the best men in my life
Yeah.
are willing to hear my experience. So I do not deserve a parade because I never thought that I wasn't willing to hear my friends, who are people of color, their experience, but I clearly was not. I was not open to it or available enough to open the floodgate
but also I think
and to just fucking listen.
yeah, I mean, like, we've heard this stuff before, but I think we wanted more proof than someone saying it happened, because when we encounter cops, we don't have that experience. It's like hard to imagine.
Yeah,
I've never
Believe
when
people of
all
color.
those videos. I literally flabbergasted on every single one of how the cops are acting, because that's never been my experience. And
yeah, it was one fucking reveal after another.
Yeah.
Until I get sick because it's
Right.
sickening.
Right.
So guess what? I'm human.
and then
success.
and then I think, like, if you listen to it, you're like, yeah, that sounds awful, but you can't really visualize it, until it's hitting camera.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. But so we're allowed to kind of live our lives that are a lot easier and think things are okay, and
Which is what men folk are doing in the big reveal to them.
Sure, and we know a ton of black comics that are very funny, and they talk about that stuff on stage, and it's like, all right, hey, you made comedy out of it, great, It's like, but it's honestly the election of Donald Trump was when I was like, oh my, like, I really didn't know how bad so many white people were, and me
that's-
not knowing is also a bad thing too. Is a
Right.
deliberate ignorance on my part.
Right, and it didn't feel like deliberate ignorance; it just felt like ignorance. But the fact that you're willing to, I am willing to say that this from outside, it could look like willful ignorance, because that's what it can look like with
Sure,
men.
I'm sure it looks like that.
And I look at it and think, am I being willfully ignorant, or have I always been? And because of the black comics that have made it funny and live their lives and are happy on purpose, they make their happy lives full of love in spite of all of this horror.
Mm-hmm.
I told myself it couldn't be that bad.
Listen, that goes back to Hannah Gadsby, who is saying, she made this joke about an attack, and the joke
Right.
wasn't true, but it made you feel like, she told that guy off and everything's okay. And it wasn't okay.
Nope.
And it goes back to that thing of, just because a comic can wrestle with something and come up with a punchline doesn't mean the problem's solved. If they're whatever they're talking about is solved, doesn't mean just because the person was able to make a rape funny, like Wendy, what's her fucking last name? Wendy Sterling has a great story. It's funny. That doesn't mean it's she's done with it and she's not still traumatized by it, or
Right.
any comic that's taking something like that and making it funny. And it doesn't mean that other women should have to be able to do that, or
Right.
other Black people should have to be able to joke about constantly being pulled over.
Yeah.
You know, just because so, yeah, I don't know where the point, but what she was saying was that comedy doesn't solve all that, and it's like, yeah, it's not supposed to, but if you look at us just as audience members, what we've taken away from watching comics who quote solve the problem with a joke is like, oh, I guess it's not that bad, and
Right.
we're wrong,
but
and we
it
should
also,
know better than anybody,
right?
and we don't.
But and I think, but what do you think? Do you think that the comedy itself is of value by shining a light on it?
It's
Like, or do you think it's
I don't
just
know.
adding to it?
That's another thing. Like when Matt Damon did Kavanaugh, right?
Yeah.
That was great. It was funny. It was like, yeah, this guy's a fucking alcoholic demon. And yet 2 days later, the Republicans, Trump, decides to make fun of Christine Ford because they feel like, oh, we get to do our side too. You know? So, and that's not exactly the thing you were pointing out, but I comedy, you know, in that case, I actually think that sketch on SNL gave him permission to do what he wanted to do, which is make fun of her.
Right.
And was it worth it?
No.
He still got confirmed.
Yep.
And now she and every woman who's been assaulted
Outed.
has the president of the United States making fun of the things you don't remember because you're honestly telling the story.
Right.
Let's
Right.
become dramatic actors. Comedy is bullshit. I've seen the light.
Well, here's the weird thing. In 2000, so in my 2003, whatever, on one of my old closer was this thing about me going down to Venice Beach, being set up on what I thought was a prank, and this guy, I got a massage, and all of a sudden his hand was inside me on the massage on Venice Beach, and I do a joke about it. It was my closer for years. It's on the Bread album, and I do a joke about how that's where I keep my vagina.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I said to the guy.
Yes. Great
And
joke. Great joke.
it's a great joke. And I did not say that to the guy. I didn't say anything to the guy.
Right.
I also did not have an orgasm. Anyway, but I tipped him.
Dude, you're such a female. Oh
Yes.
my God.
There's nothing. I mean, and so the thing is I took that experience and I made it into a joke that people still quote, and people
Right.
wanted that goddamn T-shirt. That's where I keep my vagina with an arrow going down.
Right.
And so I made buttons that I gave away, and some people still have those buttons. But that's a joke where I took something and I looked like I was the hero of that, where I triumphed, you know?
Yeah.
And in real life, I was not.
Right.
That
That's
guy
the
got to
same
molest
example.
me, and I didn't do anything about it except for give him an extra $10.
Wow.
And, you know, it was 18 years ago.
Wow.
But I look back on that and I think, oh, that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops.
Fuck.
Don't do that, you guys. Stand up for yourselves. What the fuck? Anyway, where are we, Kyle?
We are at
53.
53.
I at this last week after the Kavanaugh thing. That's an amazing story.
It's a weird one, right? Because I think
it's incredibly common.
it's incredibly common, too.
By the way,
yeah.
every time a comic has a great snappy comeback in their act, they didn't say it in real life. Just so you guys all need to know that, right? You know we're fucking writers, and we say on stage what we wish we had said, and we thought of in the car on the way home, just like you guys, except we had a stage to go to. Okay, so just know that no one's ever that funny.
In the moment, especially if there's trauma going on.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's hard to riff when someone is punching you in the face,
Yeah.
even though Indiana Jones did it every time. Every time.
We're good if we're being heckled, but that's
Yes.
still a situation we're in control in.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
and
that's
we're
true.
ready for that.
Yeah.
So my mom, I was talking about, because after my stuff with my swim coach, my mom, you know, her my dad's solution was to pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. My dad went to mass more and prayed for me. He told me he was doing that.
Oh, great.
And my mom didn't do anything. And so I said, you guys were the grown-ups. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand my feelings. I was just so ashamed, and you guys weren't saying anything, and that made it a million times worse. And you're fucking supposed to shake some trees. I'm a mom now. I know what I would do if I suspected something like that, and you guys are supposed to do that. And the fact that you didn't, and a whole bunch of other grown-ups didn't, a lot of parents knew or suspected, and they didn't do anything, allowed him to rape many more girls,
Yep.
So that was another conversation.
It's been a great conversation
It's been
week.
a horrible week.
Exactly. It's like,
God.
There are people I didn't call on purpose. So, I was afraid to talk to my dad this week just in case he was going to riff.
Right.
But he was in the hospital. I told you. I think.
Yeah.
And Andy's hilarious because my dad chose to go to the hospital. He could have taken just pills for an antibiotic, but he's like, no, you get to go to the VA. You pick off the menu. They bring you coffee. There's nice, good-looking nurses.
Honestly, it sounds like heaven.
It's a nice spa week for him. And they let him out a couple of days ago, and he was like, well, tomorrow's hot dog day. It's the Brewers are playing. Anyway, so I was like, but I didn't want to talk to him just in case he was going to riff on it. But he's never been inappropriate with me or Darla. I mean, to my knowledge, it's like he's been a jackass, but he's been an adult jackass to other adults.
That's
Well, it's something to be said.
It's something to be proud of.
We're not going to put it on his gravestone. That's not going to be. That's not going to be.
That might be one of the few redeeming qualities any of us have. If we kept just a jackass to other adults.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe we should look at that as a good quality. I still were I was watching some some old stuff, and there was a time when I moved to Harlem. I had material being the white girl in the neighborhood,
right?
And I'm mortified by it now.
Right.
I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I
can't believe you are watching all of these sets.
I just watch snippets and I go, oh my God. I mean, thank God I didn't get a half hour on HBO. That would be on.
It'd be there.
But my point of view was I'm here. Everybody, what is your reaction to me? And those were all the jokes.
That is insufferable.
Now I know that I was part of a gentrification, and I still am because I still have my place up there.
Yep.
And I'm part of somebody's horror story that I'm my presence contributed to a neighborhood turning a different way, and becoming way more expensive for people that were living there, But my point of view was, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm a comic. It's always going to be self-centered, but it was very white, very
those old sets. I don't recommend watching them, because you've been doing this and I did some cleaning. Comic friend of ours came over, cleaned my house for 6 hours.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, she fucking it's gorgeous.
Wow.
The kitchen and the bathroom. And I had spent 6 hours on the living room not long ago, and I decided while she was doing that to go through this filing cabinet. And there are some probably the oldest digital, I've got some 2004, 2006 sets on DVD.
Okay.
And I'm sure in a closet that when I open the door out, I have to shove things back into it. That there's some VHS.
You got to find the VHS tapes because the tape it does degrade. There's some sets where I'm like, this is never going to sync up properly.
Oh, they're fair enough.
Yeah, and they're grainy. Oh shit, they're grainy.
Yeah, they're grainy.
That's the highest quality that was available at the time.
Right.
We're so used to HD. My God, from our fucking phones.
Right. Why would HD be invented now when I have all these lines on my face?
Wow. You asked the question of the ages. That is a good point. This is proof that God hates us.
How long have we been talking on this podcast?
We are 59.
59 minutes. Why don't you talk for 40 seconds while I
I'm in
off?
Los Angeles this weekend. I will be at Cleveland at Hilarities in Cleveland the weekend after Thanksgiving. So if you're nearby, please buy tickets. Let them know that female headliner Laurie Kilmartin can pack a room. Is that it? Oh, you're yawning. I guess we're done.
Yeah.